All right, today we're unpacking a really powerful parable told in the style of Zarathustra. Now, this one is actually inspired by the famous prologue in Heaven from Goethe's Faust. And let me tell you, it's designed to take everything you think you know about good, evil, and what it means to be human and flip it completely upside down.
So let's just jump right in with the big question that this whole thing is built around. It's a pretty provocative idea, for sure, but it is absolutely key to understanding why this parable argues that struggle is so much more valuable than peace. This one line right here, this is basically the whole argument in a nutshell. The idea that trying and messing up aren't failures we should avoid, but are actually essential, maybe even divinely intended, parts of being human. So where does this whole thing kick off? Well, not on Earth, not with us. Our story begins up in the heavens, with a creator who's actually gotten tired of his own perfect creation. I mean, just try to imagine it, an existence of pure harmony, nothing but endless hymns of praise, perfect order, day in and day out. The parable says the creator looked at all this and didn't see paradise. He saw a dangerous kind of stagnation, a world with zero challenge and zero growth. And this is where the concept of the last man comes in. See, in this way of thinking, a world of perfect peace doesn't lead to enlightenment. Oh no, it leads to this, a state of just comfortable mediocrity, where the very spark that drives us to be great has been completely snuffed out. But, in this heaven of yes men, there's one spirit who stands out, a spirit of contradiction, of vital malice, called the scapegoat, or Mephisto. He's the only one who refuses to just sing along, and he represents this necessary friction in what's otherwise become a totally smooth and uninspired universe. So the creator, who's just bored out of his mind, sees this one spirit of negation and thinks, aha, perfect. He sees an opportunity, a way to inject some desperately needed tension back into existence. And this, right here, sets the stage for a cosmic wager. And who does the creator single out? Get this. It's not some super pious saint, not a man of perfect faith. Nope. He points to Faust, a man whose entire identity is wrapped up in his constant restless striving. The scapegoat just scoffs at this. He sees all that striving not as a virtue, but as a massive flaw. To him, Faust is just this tormented creature who can never, ever find peace. And because of that, he's a terrible servant to his master. And this just lays out the core conflict so perfectly. You have two completely different ways of looking at the same person. Where the creator sees this restless spirit trying to achieve something great, the scapegoat just sees a miserable guy failing over and over. One sees potential in the struggle, the other sees nothing but inadequacy. Now, here's the creator's crucial response. And it's a shocker. He doesn't defend Faust at all. He smiles and basically says, "You're right, and that's exactly what I want." He literally says he doesn't want the pious cow of contentment. And then he gives the scapegoat permission to go down there and test him, to tempt him, to pull him down. The logic here is pretty straightforward, right? Human potential, our energy, it just sits there, dormant, unless there's some kind of resistance. The text uses this incredible metaphor. Resistance is the tension on a bowstring. And it's only through that tension that the arrow can fly towards its target, in this case, the overman. Okay, so we've got this wild story from heaven, but what does this heavenly bargain actually mean for us, for how we're supposed to live our lives? Let's get into Zarathustra's explanation. The real meaning of the parable is this. The divine, whatever you want to call it, doesn't favor the meek little servant who just follows the old rules. No, it loves the strong-willed, risk-taking individual. It loves the very danger that humanity represents. So why allow all this negativity into the world? Why permit chaos, temptation, and this terrifying amount of freedom? Well, according to this parable, it's because that's the only gym where humanity can actually build its muscles. It's only by wrestling with these forces that we forge our own strength. And this completely flips the script on what we think of as evil. The devil figure, this spirit of negation, he's not just some malevolent force anymore. He becomes an essential tool, like a hammer that's needed to shatter our comfortable little truths and force us to create our own meaning, our own values. So this all brings us right back down to Earth. What does this cosmic drama mean for you, for me, right here and now? What's the practical takeaway? The message is pretty blunt, really. Stop seeing negativity and cynicism and doubt as your enemies. The parable says you should see them as your greatest tools, the hammer and chisel you need to sculpt something new and powerful. The cosmic logic is basically a three-step process. 1. The highest power needs the devil's work to happen. 2. This work forges a human being who is strong enough to say yes to all of life. And 3. All of life means everything. Not just the good stuff, not just the light and joy, but the shadow and the terror too. And this leads to the most radical, mind-bending conclusion of all. The parable tells you, straight up, do not pray for peace. Because if struggle is the only way to become strong, then praying for an easy, peaceful life is actually praying for weakness. There's this quote from the source text that just sums it all up so beautifully. True growth, real flight, it doesn't come from staying safe in the nest. It comes from embracing that tension, from having the guts to risk a fall. And so, this is the final, actionable message from Zarathustra. Don't ask for your burdens to be taken away. Ask for a stronger back to carry them. The prayer isn't for an easy life, but for the strength to live a great one. So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. Take a look at your own life. What's that challenge, that doubt, that difficult situation that you're always fighting against? According to this parable, that very thing might not be an obstacle to your growth, it might just be the hammer you need to forge it.